Okay, so there's two different methods, or three actually, how to develop bodhicitta. But maybe we will go into them, because the two actually we combine into one, because that is stressed in the FPMT. It's the combination of the two methods by Lama Tsongkhapa. So I'm just going through the steps so that you still know which is which and how Lama Tsongkhapa then put them together. But each step we will do tomorrow, and then hopefully all of them, all 11 steps tomorrow. I think we should be able to do that. And
which steps? I did not get you.
11, but we'll talk about them. Okay? You're very impatient.
No, I didn't understand the title
Yeah.
of the steps.
Yeah, there's no title yet. It will come. Well, the 11 steps to develop bodhicitta by Lama Tsongkhapa. So, but actually, first were these two methods of developing bodhicitta. One is by Asanga, Indian scholar. Which century? No idea, to be honest. He was a direct disciple of Maitreya. So he developed what is called the sevenfold cause and effect method, because they're methods. You know, it's a structure. It's a structure how to develop bodhicitta. Sevenfold, or sometimes it is called 6 causes, 1 effect. Steps, or structure, or how else would you call it? Shrite? Shrite? Steps, yeah, Shrite, steps. And that one for Westerners seems to be the more difficult one, because already with the first point we fail. Because we need to be able to see all beings as our mother. Why? Because, again, we talk more about this tomorrow, because a mother definitely, you know, sometimes people ask, why can't I just see all beings as my children? Because a child doesn't feel, how to say, a mother is naturally kind to the children. Sometimes the children, they have to recognize the kindness of the mothers in order to repay it. This is what I mean. And also, not everybody has children, whereas everybody had a mother.
But everybody has a kind mother.
Kind mother.
Yeah, so we come to that tomorrow. Can you wait? Can you?
Everybody has kind mother.
No, wait. Tomorrow we'll talk about this. So actually, if your mother has not been kind, this kind of thing here, what we're going to talk about tomorrow, is very disturbing. When I heard this for the first time, I thought, shit. You know, I don't want to believe that, but the next thought was, shit, this is true. Because she gave me this life, and now I enjoy this life. This is what I mean. But this is not to make you feel guilty, and this is very important. So when the mother in this life has not been kind to us, we take another mother from another life. You know, we see young mothers now, a mother that you find inspiring, how they treat their babies and look after their children. You think, at one point, even this unkind mother has been kind to me. Not in this life. We're not turning unkindness into kindness. We're not like this. But slowly, slowly, one is still then able to recognize that some kindness has been there, some. And the unkindness that came from suffering and delusion, ignorance, and just wrong views also. Yeah?
Nightmare.
Huh?
A nightmare.
A nightmare, madness, you know, not being normal. So we're thinking about normal mothers. And most of the mothers, I would say, are still kind of normal, like the norm now, the norm. Yeah. So, but this is why this is a very difficult step, but don't worry. Jenny is your name, right? Don't worry, Jenny is like, yeah, I remember you from last year.
Yeah.
We have a different method where you can leave the mothers aside, because it is very difficult. Because the first thing we hear, we only see one mother, so we think I have to see all beings as the mother in this life, well, then I end up hating them. How can I, how can I be grateful? So if that mother has been too difficult, you take either another person who has been kind to you, if there was. Very often there is. Sometimes even that is not there because you grow up in a home being abused. There's terrible things that are being done to children. You're abused sexually, you're beaten, it's like you have to work like hell. The stories that you hear is like appalling. Yeah, it's a lot of suffering. Now we're in the emotional happiness. Here seeing the poor children. And we don't see that these poor children, at one point, they were the aggressors. So now this is not for us then to say, okay, they deserve it. But it's to say, wow, this is the cause. So this person who has been really nasty to me, at one point she will be one of those children. May I not be then the mother who is beating her. So this is how you protect your mind from repeating the whole thing, this kind of thinking. So they forced me to see the kindness of my mother. As I said, I wasn't very happy, but I thought like, shit, this is true. So, but slowly with this, I was able to go and see my mom without any aversion, not with love and open heart, and let's not exaggerate it, let's be honest, but in a totally relaxed way. And I didn't have to contradict what she was saying. I was able to listen to her, always complaining about something and this and this and this and this. And we had and I have zero hard feelings towards her. I was really able to dissolve it before she died. And I was able to thank her for the body that she has given me. That was probably the nicest thing she's ever heard, because she repeated it to her friend. She was very happy, And it's true. If it wouldn't be for my mom, I would not have this life. And I have very many happy moments in this life now. So this is the first step. And don't forget, that's the most difficult one. I'm sorry that it comes at the beginning. Yeah. So even the whole thing is very difficult, but that one is even more difficult. The reasoning for that is that we have a mind that has no beginning, because for this mind, then it needs a substantial cause. That one needs another substantial cause, therefore we cannot find the beginning. This can be debatable or not. But we're just going through the steps now, so you can, if you want, you can write them down. I go slowly. So this first step, seeing all beings as my mother, because we've had infinite lifetimes. It's a probability that not just once, but many times, this not so kind mother has been my kind mother when she had better conditions to be a kind mother. It's difficult. I know it's very difficult. The second step is to see their kindness. When we are totally dependent on them, for example, they drop us, they don't feed us, they go out or party and get drunk, don't come home. All these, how many times does a mother get up in the night? How many times does she clean your pee-pee caca? Anyway, tomorrow we'll look at all this. Seeing the kindness of the mother, second step. Third step is wanting to repay that kindness. And this is a very natural human need that we have when we recognize something as kindness, which we don't, unfortunately. If somebody does a shitty job for cleaning our house, we don't see it as kindness. We even think like, well, hey, I give them a job, I give them some salary. Without me, they couldn't survive. We have this kind of attitude. It's very unhealthy. Because then you want to get the most out of this person with giving the least money. If you would have a thought like, if she wouldn't be here or he, I would have to do that job. Wow, So what would I do with all the money? I can't throw the money in the air and then the apartment is clean, for example. So I start to change this kind of attitude. Yeah, this is what people think. It's thanks to my money I have a clean house. Well, tell your money to go and clean the house, see what happens. Well, we have this, when we see, like for example, I have to talk about this tomorrow, otherwise we don't finish today with these things. We'll come to that tomorrow, kindness of others. Wanting to repay the kindness, 1, 2, 3. 4, by that, we start to look at them with different eyes. We start to look at them through the eyes of love. I want her to be happy. So we develop love for the mother. kind of not so much conditional love, just leaving everything what happened aside, especially when she's dead. Wherever she is, may she be happy, may she be well. It's such a soothing and healing emotion. It can do so much for your life now. If you're able to have these thoughts towards somebody that you think is not so kind. May they be able to discover their own kindness, things like that. Because we all have. The same way as we have to start and learn to trust our own basic goodness that we can never lose, we start to trust the basic goodness in others, and then we start to look for it. Then we might find it. If we don't believe that this is there, we never look for it. We never we never behave towards them in a way that they can also bring it up. If we're constantly attacking them, hey, you should be kinder, you're so nasty with that. How can they be kind? They know that they're no kind. Why can't we have that trust? That people know when they are no kind. They know when they're making mistakes. They're just not able to admit it. Because it's frightening. You know what happens when you admit mistakes? Everybody vomits their whole frustration upon you. So why would you admit mistakes these days? Then you see that they're not happy. Because, especially when they're not kind, they're very unhappy. So then you develop compassion. May they be free from that suffering of such a confused mind who makes their own children suffer. Can you imagine how a mother feels who has this confused mind who makes their children suffer? How much suffering this is for a mother and a father. Wow, how much guilt and how much, because they know it's wrong, but they cannot do otherwise because of karma, because of dachas, because of confused mind and suffering. So I think it's more appropriate to have compassion than to have aggression. And compassion doesn't mean you let them walk over you, by the way. And then you see that, wow, how should I help them? How should I free them from suffering? And then you develop this extraordinary thought. Yeah, this is the sixth one. I, by myself alone, will liberate her from suffering. For that, I need to become a Buddha. That's the cause, then the result is Bodhichitta. So let me just repeat. Yeah? Seeing all beings as your mom, recognizing their kindness, letting away, we're not developing hate for them. So that's why we have to be one-sided here. Because if you want to develop hate, of course you're not thinking about the kindness. But is that what we want? No, that's not what we want. So recognizing their kindness, wanting to repay the kindness, 3. 4, developing love, wishing them to be happy. 5, developing compassion, wishing them to be free from suffering. 6, understanding that as long as I can't even help myself, how can I help my mother? Therefore, I must become a Buddha. Like this resolve, I must attain enlightenment, and then by myself alone, such a strong sentence, I will free all beings from their suffering. This is the mind of a bodhisattva. That's these 6 causes, 1 effect or 1 result. The result is this mind who goes towards, who creates the causes for enlightenment and who purifies what hinders enlightenment, who accumulates a lot of merit and purifies negative karma. The 7 limbs. Have you been learning about 7 limbs a lot? It comes in Shantideva's 2nd chapter. It's beautiful the way he explains these 7 limbs. Such a powerful practice. And so easy to do, and we hardly ever do. Okay, so that's 1. The other one is called exchanging self for others, and it comes from Shantideva. So the first step is equanimity. And actually also for the other, we need that. Equanimity is really the basis for bodhicitta. If you exclude one person, it's not you can't call it bodhicitta. Then it's just ordinary compassion. That's as strict as they are. You cannot exclude even one person. Yeah. But again, it doesn't mean you make harming people into non-harming people. You see the harm, but you separate the person from the act. You still want only the best for that person. Yeah, so it's not condoning negative actions. Harm should never be done. Harm is never good. Even if then, you know, the long-term result is that somebody then goes on to a spiritual path or whatever, but it should never be done for that purpose. Unless you're a Buddha, then you can start doing these things. But as long as we're not enlightened, cannot. Okay, equanimity. Then, next one is seeing the disadvantage of cherishing self. Sometimes it's a bit different order. Let me look at my notes here so that I give you the right order. I have a feeling it's not the right order, but I find this order very helpful. This is why. Okay. So from the Buddha, every moment of suffering that we have comes from actions when we were just concerned about our own happiness. And every moment of happiness that we have comes from attitudes when we did actions when we were concerned about the happiness of others and not concerned about ours. So it's pretty easy to see. And then tomorrow we talk about the disadvantage of cherishing self. Yeah. So that's the next step. In order to decrease this a little bit, we think about the kindness that we receive. Not just from the mother, but from everybody. So you can make very, very long meditations on 1 cup of tea. How many beings are involved in making that you are able to drink a cup of tea? The whole universe is there. Huh? The whole universe is there, you know. And we go look, and that's it. Okay, then when we see that, then the self-cherishing kind of stays, yeah, I think you're right. So we start to equalize ourselves with others. By the thought, for example, you ask yourself, give me a valid reason why my happiness is more important than Nissim's happiness. Why my happiness is more important than everybody else's happiness here in the room. Or I am just one, and out there are so many. Why am I only concerned in making myself happy? Give me a valid reason. Kacha is not enough. Because that's what the ego says. Kacha. It's normal, of course. This is what I do, because, isn't it? Then you think about the advantage of cherishing others. So we're really here. Can you see these steps? We are tricking the mind into seeing, if you do this, this happens. If you do this, this happens. It's like going to the supermarket, you know. We look at the product and we go like, oh, if I buy this, this costs so and so. Then that will have that and that effect. If I buy this one, it's cheaper, but then this. This is what we do with the mind. This is what we do with our attitudes. So we take that beautiful ability that we have to discriminate and to be wise to choose what we want to do. But first we have to expose the mind to these kind of thoughts. So we see the advantage of cherishing others. And then we start to exchange ourselves with others. First it was equalizing, saying like, yeah, their happiness just as important as my happiness. Now it's actually, because that's not possible. You see, we would I think we would be much more decent people if we would have more fairness. Like, for example, everybody the same amount of money. But then the problem is, you know, some people would spend it, some other people would keep it, some other people would, make it expand it. So then how can we do? So each time somebody has worked with the money, then what? We have to go and take it away from them? It's like, it's not possible.
The kibbutz was built on
Yeah. Good point. The kibbutz was like this, but it didn't work because of self-cherishing.
They didn't work about self-cherishing.
It worked as long as the necessity was there. They understood, if we want to build this country, we cannot be self-cherishing. Not everybody can be for themselves. They understood that without needing any Buddhist teachings.
Most of them, not all.
The suffering where they came from was so big that to be able to bear the suffering of building up this country. If that suffering would not have been there, I don't know if they would have succeeded. That intention was so strong. This is where you see when the intention is strong, I want to liberate all beings from their suffering. You are tireless. You can bear so many hardships. If it's, as long as if there's like my comfort and I need a bed to sleep at night and it's such a hot country and who knows, there's swarms and mosquitoes, I'm not going there. It will not happen. Yeah, so this is what I mean. Then, now, not necessarily more, this is why I fell apart. People say, why should I work so hard if this one is not working? Instead of saying, wow, I have this ability to work so hard. People like me because of that. Nobody criticizes me. I go to bed happy in the evening. Sorry, I'm just pointing at you, yeah? This lazy person, everybody's criticizing her. Nobody likes her. They all say she is a profiteur, I don't know how you say.
Exploiter.
Huh?
Exploiter.
Well, how do you say in Hebrew? A
Natslan.
parasite. She is a parasite.
Natslan.
Right? She is a parasite. She probably doesn't feel good about herself because she knows that all this is true, but she cannot. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. But she cannot change it. So in which shoes would you like to be? The parasite or the one who works? Again, but the one who works, he gets jealous, he gets, he would rather be in the shoes of the parasite. Stupid. This is why I fell apart, I think. Well, many other reasons, of course, I don't know. I don't know the whole thing.
Well, this is, I think, one of the main causes.
Huh?
Self-cherishing.
This is one of the main causes.
I think so. This is what I heard.
It worked for 50 years.
Yeah. And some still works. If people are, a Buddhist center works like this. Excuse me, a Buddhist group is working like this. Some people come and are parasites. They come, they listen to the teachings. Thank you very much, wonderful, bye. They clean up, they prepare the teachings, they do the things, they invest money, they take the risk of maybe nobody coming. Still you have people, teachers inviting and all this. It's the same. But why does the Buddhist group work?
The motivation is...
Because the motivation is to attain enlightenment, and we understand nobody has attained enlightenment yet. So the state of Israel is not founded yet, so we need to continue. As opposed to the kibbutz situation. Now there seems to be no need, but we still see, wow, there's big need for the Buddhist center. This is why we continue. But I can feel that sometimes in people this mind comes up. Why only me? Why doesn't she help? So this is what we have to learn to let go, to be a happy volunteer in the group. I can do this. I do this.
At least until we have a proper center.
Well, even then, there's things to do and this and that. We have a proper center in Bern.
Then I know what to do then.
Huh?
Then I know what to do when we have a proper center.
Yeah. You can talk to Paloma from the young one from Spain. Not the nun.
No, Paloma from Spain.
Yeah, exactly. The other is also from Spain. The way they schlepped around their things from, I don't know for how many years. Yeah, so, yeah.
But the tendency of a normal person is the comparison. We live by that. We live, by comparison. So, for instance, you see someone doing this, someone doing that, and then you write down notes. Oh, he did a lot, she did a little. Why should I do this? That's the way people live. But not everyone.
That's why people live or people lead?
That's how
Live their
people
lives.
live.
You always compare whatever you do.
Yeah, but that's
someone
stupid.
else.
This is why equanimity is so important. I'm trying to do a meditation on it before we stop also. Yeah. Okay. So this is what we let go. We have discrimination, but at least use it in a good way. Kind of, this comparison, does it help me?
No.
It makes me feel hate the ones who are better, and jealous of them. It makes me be competitive with the ones who are same, and it makes me look down on the others who are not so good as I am. And all three are different, are kind of negative states of mind. So this is why equanimity is so important. This is why the Buddhist groups, they survive, because we talk a lot about equanimity and we do a lot of meditations on equanimity. Okay, so now the last step there is really exchanging yourself with others, but in the meditation, doing giving and taking, this Tonglen meditation. Again, preparing the mind for doing it. We'll talk about tomorrow what it is. I just wanted you to give the steps today. Okay? So these are these two different methods. From Asanga, the sevenfold method, or the 6 causes, 1 effect method, and the method from Shantideva, which is the 8th chapter, especially on meditation, how to exchange yourself for others. So for Westerners, in general, the exchanging self for others works better because of the first step in the other one, that all beings have been our mother. Now Lama Tsongkhapa comes, and it's Lama Tsongkhapa, isn't it? He always makes things better, but also more difficult. So then he combines the two into 11 steps. If you want, I can give them to you, and then we make a short meditation before we go on equanimity. So first, point 1 or step is equanimity. Two, all beings have been our mother. 3, seeing their kindness. 4, in this 3, it's not just seeing the kindness of the mother, but seeing the kindness of all. Okay? 4, repaying the kindness. 5, now he puts equalizing self with others before the disadvantage of self-cherishing. So the 5th point is understanding that we're all equal. That my happiness is not more important than yours, which the ego doesn't understand that.
It's not equanimity?
Not really, because equanimity, I am here, and then we have these 3 people outside, friend, da-da-da-da-da. Here it's like, it's not exactly, it's like equalizing ourselves with others. Then the 6th point is disadvantage of cherishing self, or self-cherishing. The 7th point, advantage of cherishing others. The 8th point, 8th and 9 is love and compassion. So you start to give them happiness with out-breath and take suffering with in-breath. It's 8 and 9. 8 is love, 9 is compassion. Like you exchange yourself with others. 10, the extraordinary thought, I have to attain enlightenment. By myself alone. And the 11th is then you have developed Bodhichitta. So we look at these 11 points tomorrow. We go into each one so that you don't get a...
He was bright.
Huh?
Kappa was very bright.
Yeah, he was too bright for me, I'm sorry. Yeah, he was a Buddha. He was definitely... Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's... the way he put things together. Also Shantideva. If you look at that text, the way it is structured, not like me going here and there and there and there. It's like, this is about this, next 3 verses about this, next 4 about this. It's amazing. And the whole book like this, you know?
Keep all of it in his
I don't know. Without a computer, without a tablet. You know, having to write by hand. Okay, good. So the teachings for today, that's about... Oh, no, I haven't really said... The 2 kinds of bodhicitta, so I don't want you to go home without, without knowing that. So there's 2 kinds of bodhicitta. The one we leave aside for the moment. Aspiring bodhicitta and engaging bodhicitta, or wishing bodhicitta. Aspiring is maybe better. Or engaging bodhicitta. When you have decided that you want to do these meditations and you really want to go there, and it's actually already quite firm in your mind, that would be aspiring bodhicitta. Like that is, when you say, if I practice only bodhicitta, Okay, that is this aspiring bodhicitta. But you're not taking the vow. Bodhicitta vows. It's like 18 root vows and 46 branch vows. I don't know if you have time to look at them, maybe not. But definitely you can look at them when you go through Shantidevas, because at the end of the second chapter he's actually taking these vows. So that's another text or other thing that you have to provide, so people know what these vows are.
No.
No?
But for other reasons, we will have to soon distribute them to all.
For the
For
initiation.
the
Yeah,
initiation,
exactly.
So, that's very important.
So, but also in the
it's
second
the
chapter,
part.
he's talking about these vows and he's actually taking them, like in the two verses, in one verse. So that is engaging, that is aspiring bodhicitta. You want to develop bodhicitta, you want to go, but you have not taken neither the vow nor are practicing consciously the 6 perfections. The 6 perfections we talk about the last day, hopefully. The actions of a bodhisattva. So this is like making a decision, firm decision, I want to go to Tel Aviv, but still being here, not going. Taking the bodhisattva vows and engaging in the 6 perfections, practice of 6 perfections, is engaging bodhicitta. So it's these 2 kinds of bodhicitta. Then there's 2 other kinds, but we'll come to that. Then with the aspiring bodhicitta, you have the aspiring bodhicitta that needs to be nurtured. Ooh, you know, again and again and again and again and again and again, because it's not firm enough. But then that turns into spontaneous bodhicitta. When it comes like this, we have spontaneous ego citta at the moment, and that can turn into spontaneous bodhicitta. Where we just, you know, like for the children, when you hear them cry, oh, the interest is there, they're suffering, what's happening? You get up, you run. That kind of mind. I'm not needing to go and run to every sentient being, but then this far-reaching attitude, as long as they don't understand the nature of reality, which is the purpose of practicing Buddhism, is to understand the nature of reality. I mean, it's ridiculous. We have to do all these things to understand that nothing is there. It's terrible, isn't it?
As you get brain.
We discussed it in the group,
Yeah.
the study group, how long it will take an underdeveloped person like me to create bodhicitta, or just create, you know, caring for somebody else. And an incident that happened with Geshe Tenzin Zopa. We just went for an X-ray of his tooth.
Uh-huh.
Out of the elevator, a huge man came and hugged him, and you're a Buddhist. And he told him, I just came from my doctor, I have a recurring skin cancer.
Mm.
So before, in a second, Geshe Tenzin Zopa was on the side with this person. I didn't know where he disappeared,
Uh-huh.
giving him some blessing and blessing
Yeah.
the kids and all of that. In a fraction of a second,
Mm.
he didn't think about it.
Mm.
He didn't contemplate what to do. I know this person, I don't know
Yeah,
this
do I
person.
have time? No, this is
No, he was,
so.
he was
This
there.
is why the inspiration of living masters. We needed to see
He
that
was
this
there.
is possible.
He disappeared.
Yeah, I
And
know.
then I see him. he's
Yeah,
standing
Tenzin
there.
Zopa is like, wow, he's amazing. Already as a kid, you know, he was like, amazing person. So anyway, so this is what I mean. When we see these examples, maybe we are inspired. Maybe we think, wow, I want to become like him. Yeah, and this is definitely for him. It's not the first life that he practices bodhicitta. I'm sure he would say no, but he's like, yeah, okay. Okay, so you have a few points here that you already know a little bit. You satisfied? Happy? If not, well, what can I do?
Tomorrow, another day.
Tomorrow more, or tomorrow don't come back and go and eat ice cream. It's okay also. But now I would like to do with you a short contemplation on equanimity, because that is the basis. So this is like a good farmer that when he has a field that hasn't been tended for a long time, and our mind maybe has not been tended for a long time, and it's all like this. Yeah. So with that which is too high, he has to take away a bit of earth and puts it in the hole so that it's level. Then he has a good field. So that's how we prepare the mind for bodhicitta. Okay, so just relax. Try to sit with the straight back if you can, otherwise go in a chair, that's fine also. Or from the chair go to the floor if you feel more comfortable. The straight back is quite important. And what is most important is that you relax. You probably have heard that the two things that we try to do in meditation is have a clear and stable mind. The Buddhists don't mention it, but because they don't know our minds, but we also need to have a relaxed mind. A mind that thinks nothing to achieve, nothing to attain. The way things are right now, good enough. Totally like this. It's so relaxing. We always want to do something. We're such doers. So from doing we go into being. Not to figure out anything. If you forgot any of these points, it doesn't matter. I'm not a good teacher anyway, so you can blame it on me. And I even say you're right. You can see them, you can look them up, we can repeat them, we will repeat them again, it's fine. Just let go. The way you are right now, totally okay. The place you are right now, totally okay. So this is where we start with equanimity. Whatever is happening right now, there's nothing to change. We just learn to accept, not to react. That's the difficult part. You become aware of your breath, or at least your body sitting on the cushion or on the chair brings you into the present. If we would know how much merit this creates just to be able to think about these things, to hear about them, to maybe even be inspired by them, is amazing. That will bring the result that we all yearn for, lasting happiness. And not just for ourselves, but also for all sentient beings. Isn't that wonderful? So I leave you for 7 minutes with your experiences in your meditation as awake as possible. And we start to train equanimity with our sensations. Or first, maybe we start to see how not equanimous we are. How there's a wish for having pleasant experiences, and how there's a fear of unpleasant experiences. Contemplation, meditation is for the sake of knowing. Knowing what? First of all, the sensations, they are impermanent. First of all, that we let go of all control over them. If your mind is in a good way, fantastic. If your mind is not in a good way, also fantastic. Try to see the impermanence there. If you don't fiddle around, it changes by itself. Whatever thoughts come into your head and into your mind, let them be, let them go. Don't elaborate, don't get entangled, if possible. It's It's natural for us to think, so don't get frustrated. The moment you become aware of it, come back and look at your sensations. Body sensations or sensations of the mind. You can label them pleasant and unpleasant. You see the reaction to it, and then you try to let go and let it be. And you see the substance of these sensations. It's dynamic, moving, not permanent. If we want to make progress on this path, we have to first learn to accept the way we are. Otherwise, it turns into self-hate, frustration, whatever. Just the fact that we are here, and even maybe we have a motivation to come back tomorrow, this is good enough. We learn to appreciate that, to honor that, because it's not easy. So then again, the determination, whatever comes up in the mind, right now, I will just watch it. I will see the play of it. I will try to see what it is made of. The mind is the only thing I have to be happy. And I know so little about this. And if you get lost in thought, just come back to the sensations of the body. Or you can even ask yourself, how does the mind feel? Like emotions. Whatever is there is okay. I know it might sound contradicting that we want to develop this high mind which seems to need a lot of effort. And now I'm asking you to just effortlessly let the mind, the sensations do whatever they want to do, but to be awake, to be with them, to observe them. Then we can end the meditation, take that practice book that we have, and dedication always very important. At the end of the teachings, we can take refuge, we'll do tomorrow. Do that at the end of the teachings. So that the positive energy that we have created is not getting lost. So we have page 29. There's something. I dedicate whatever virtues I have ever collected for the benefit of the teachings and of sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Losang Drapa. So this is Lama Tsongkhapa, from whom we study these 11 points to shine forever. Then we go
34 or some more dedication.
to 34 exactly. Now this is about Bodhichitta. May the supreme jewel Bodhichitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase more and more. Then long life for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good, all-powerful Chandresik Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Then Lama Zopa Rinpoche. No, that's not. This is to fulfill all wishes. Lama Zopa Rinpoche you don't have. Maybe some of you know it by heart. I only know it in Tibetan.
You can sing it in Tibetan. We should learn it in Tibetan.
Tu tsu shan shin chang gung gya we ten tsing kyong pe we kun tsu to po tse cho sung kor we le mun tu chub pa ta so tu che kun tu sha ten sho. And then if Daga Rinpoche comes, he always does this one at the end also, this prayer to spontaneous fulfill of all wishes. Page 34 at the bottom. This is for the Dalai Lama's wishes to be fulfilled, which is of course for all beings to have happiness, for nobody to suffer, and also for Tibet to be free. So. Janyanin chesun to shupe Lam se te se che kan chen ten jagan chana pe mo ten singato la sawa tepso sheten lun jo shok. Then at the page of 35, there are 2 verses there which are from the King of Prayers. So this is quite good to do also because we don't know how to dedicate, because we think there's a real I doing a real dedication which will bring a real result. It's already wrong. So this is why Lama Zopa Rinpoche always says, may the I, who doesn't exist from its own side, attain enlightenment, who doesn't exist from its own side, in order to benefit all sentient beings who don't exist from their own side, by myself alone, who does not exist from its own side. Now we forget that sometimes, and also we don't mean it. This is why these verses here, it says, just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra are true, realize things as they are, also I dedicate all these merits in the best way that I may follow their example. So we say, I don't really know how to dedicate because I don't know about emptiness, but these 2 guys, they knew, Manjushri, Samantabhadra, so I dedicate like them, so that my dedication becomes like their dedication, like the best one, knowing about emptiness, knowing that everything that seems to exist does not exist. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best, which is what? That things do not exist from their own side, by the victorious ones thus gone of the 3 times, so that I might perform the noble bodhisattva's deeds. Thank you very much. So tomorrow we'll go through the 11 steps, we'll try to do meditation on it, and then the day after tomorrow we'll look at the actions of a bodhisattva, like the 6 perfections. And about the quiz, I don't know yet, whether I should just give it to you and then you fill it out at home and send me the answers, or whether you want to do it here in the last hour. That would be the big challenge.
Let's do it here.
Huh?
Let's do it here now.
Up to you.
You're grown-up people. What do you think you're capable of? Because you see, doing tests and then you don't know that answer and you don't know that and you don't know this answer, I think it's fine. That's so discouraging. Of course, for the brilliant students who sit in front here, this is not a problem. They would love to do it here. Huh?
Not brilliant.
Oh, yeah, you are. You know a lot of things. Don't underestimate your knowledge. Knowledge is important. You know, Geshe Sherab really said, he said, if you only study philosophy and you don't really practice, and practice also means things that we don't like to do so much, prayers, meditation, oh yeah, we do the Chenresik sadhana also, Chenresik sadhana, 7 limbs, we're totally meditating on it. This is also practice, not just helping others out there, but also mind transformation, all this. So if you only study and you don't practice, he says your heart becomes very dry and you become very arrogant. And you know 6 of this and 10 of that, and you know all the schools and blah, 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 and all this and this and this. But if you only practice and you don't study, you become stupid. And you fall into the traps of any guru that kind of, you know, looks at you, is very kind to you, gets the money out of your pocket, and then you complain. So it needs both. Then it becomes really powerful. It can be so powerful, this whole thing. But first we have to overcome our resistance to these practices, because our ego needs, one thing is we have maybe bad relationship with our own, you know, religion, people, I don't know. This is one thing you have to really learn, to let them do whatever they want to do. And whenever you see them doing something negative, you think, this is negative. Not making it nice. Saying, this is really negative. I will never do this. Then you're protected from your anger, and then you know what you want to do. If you can stop them from doing these things that are not very helpful, by all means do. But getting angry at them, it doesn't help. You know, again, see the suffering that comes from a confused and self-cherishing mind only looking like this. Try to see it and then go like, I have the same mind actually, because I think they are bad and they think they're good. Whereas, you know, I think they're bad, they think they're good. When they look at me, they think I am bad, and they think they are good. You're like,
Hopeless.
huh?
Hopeless.
It's the same thing. So we need to open up and say, wow, may they have access to wisdom. May they start to use their power so that it's benefit to all beings, not just for the religious or whatever. And please, please stop criticizing them. It doesn't stop them, it just makes you unhappy. And it blocks your mind from being able to do anything that smells religious. I mean, I always have the impression I'm not teaching in a religious way. People say, yeah, you talk a lot about religion. I'm talking about common sense. Now, of course, this is religious, what we did. But the mind, bodhicitta mind, that's not really religion. It's common sense. We all have that nature. Not just the Buddhists. At one point, somebody asked me, said, don't you think you're a bit arrogant with your Buddha nature? I said, why? This is one thing I can really not get arrogant about. Why? Because everybody has it. Why would I be arrogant about something that everybody has? Everybody has it. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, have a nice evening. Thank you very much for coming.
Start tomorrow at 10.
Tomorrow we start at 10, so hopefully see you tomorrow.